Hi guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rifts. We're back with a Varus commentary guide. Now I have already released a Varus complete guide, so as you guys know, we normally release a commentary guide either before or after the complete guide. That's like a follow-up, like for both a second gameplay and like just another commentary over like another gameplay, just to, you know, show that it's not just one game you can do well. Of course, it's not just two games you can do well, but you guys get the picture. It's just more content for you guys. I'm sure no one's going to complain about that. Now, something I am going to complain about is this is the third time I'm recording this voiceover. Now, as you guys know, I record replays and I record voiceovers. So what happened the first time is that this video is like 17 minutes long. I recorded a voiceover for 16 minutes long, and then the program crashed and it didn't save. The second time I only recorded like 1 minute, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, it definitely hurts to have to record something again, over and over again. But yeah, regardless, you know, here we are. We're just gonna do it all over again. But you know, it turns out the reason why I have to record it is because I have run out of storage space, so it couldn't save the voiceover. And as I exceeded the amount of storage space I had, it always just automatically crashed the program just because it had no space, which of course is understandable. I only have 128 gig of storage space, which is a very little considering we're in 2021. So anyways, you know, enough about that. Let's get into the actual video. Now, we have been pushing out a lot of content recently, and you know, there is more to come. I have like a Vayne commentary guide coming up to follow up on the complete guide. I have a Ziggs commentary guide coming up, which is gonna set up the complete guide, which we'll eventually do. And that game with Ziggs is a banger. So if you guys don't want to miss it out, don't forget, you know, of course, to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Now, let's actually talk about Varus himself. Now, of course, as I covered in the complete guide, which I'm just going to do a very brief recap here, there are 4 conditions you want before you pick Varus. Of course, the first 2 are the important ones that is kind of almost a must, and the other 2 are really not as important. Now, the first so-called condition that we have is we gotta have a solid front line. In this case, we have Olaf as a front line. And you know, Master Yi is not really a frontline, but he's likely just going to be running in and the enemies distracting him anyway, so I'm sort of going to count him as a pseudo frontline. Speaking of which, here he comes, he's flashing into the tower and getting a double kill for himself. Now, of course, if I was a Master Yi, I really would trade my life for a double kill. I think that's kind of worth it. So yeah. And the second condition you want to have is that you need some form of consistent DPS, of course, physical damage DPS on your team. In this case, we have both Master Yi and Olaf yet again, which are pretty consistent DPS sources, especially Master Yi in the late game. So with these two conditions met, we can pick Varus. Now the other 2 sub-conditions that are really not as important is your lane opponents. The enemy ADC should be short range to give you the maximum advantage of poking. In this case, that's not the case because Xayah has a really relatively long range. And you want to have like a tank support so you can abuse them by poking. In this case, kinda like Rakan is kinda a tank engage support, but he has a very fast engage. In my opinion, the fastest engage, so it's pretty hard to play against a Rakan because they're very dangerous when you get knocked up, which we have come very close to, or I think he did knock us up once. So yeah, Rakan not really the best matchup, so basically our lane matchup isn't too good. Now the reason why I have these 2 conditions is Varus is a very weak laning phase. He has a couple of issues. Firstly, he doesn't actually have any mobility, so he gets caught up very easily. Secondly, his damage is really lackluster. Like his entire laning phase damage is the whole laning phase, all you're doing is you're just poking your opponent with your Q, and that's pretty much all you do. Like here, I'm just trying to poke with my Q. Like that's really all you can do because he doesn't have any kind of DPS. There is very little chance you can get kills in lane. There's only 2 ways you get kills in lane. Number 1, you hit them with your ultimate and you full burst them with what, assuming that they're at like maybe 3/4, 2 turrets kind of health. It's possible to do that. The other way is you get a gank from your jungler, which it kind of happened just now, where Master Yi got himself a double kill. And that is really kind of hard to actually get kills in lane. Now, I do believe Varus is at least an S tier AD carry. I think he's really good of an AD carry, barring the 2 conditions that you have to pick him. Here we have a dragon fight where I whiffed my ultimate completely, but it's still going relatively well. We pick up a couple of kills, and we're gonna pick up the dragon as well after that, considering we got those kills. But yeah, I do think that the first way of getting solo kills in lane, like getting ulting someone and killing them, I believe it only really works now because Varus really, despite being a really good ADC pick in my opinion, is very underrated. So I do think that many people don't really know how much damage Varus does. So when people start playing Varus more, which I do believe is gonna happen sooner or later. I am already seeing more and more people picking Varus, but just like not a lot, but definitely more than what it was last time. Now, Lethality Varus definitely is the way to go. So yeah, when they start picking up Varus and Varus becomes like very common, very meta, people will start knowing what his damage in lane is like. So likely the first way of getting solo kills in lane likely isn't gonna happen. So regardless, as I said, Lethality Varus is the way. Now for the build and the rune setup that I use in this match, I've covered that in the complete guide already. So you guys can check that out in the complete guide if you guys want to. I'll link it up in the cards above. Now here you see that I actually just aggressively flash ulted. So you can actually extend the range of your ult with your flash. So if you like ult and then you flash, you actually extend the range of your ult. Now, do I recommend doing this? Definitely not, unless you know you can secure the kill and get out safely like what I did there. There was really no threat. I know that if we ult the Pantheon, he's a guaranteed kill and there's no one there to really follow up to kill us, that is. So that is why I did that, but normally that is not safe to do so. There I fire a blind arrow into the bush, which hits the Rakan. Now, Rakan probably thinks that bush is warded, but it really isn't. So sometimes you can do that. Of course, you see people like walking into bushes, you can just arrow them, send an arrow into the bush from like afar, because you really have that long range. Varus, his really main advantage is his range. His main drawback is his lack of mobility and his incredibly weak early game. Now, Varus in laning phase, although I did mention that the two conditions of lane matchup is important, however, really, Varus is very weak in laning phase. Of course, if you have a good lane matchup, you can sort of try to bully them just by poking because they don't have range. But if not, you pretty much just play safe the entire laning phase, because with this build, you need to actually get up to like a couple of items to be useful. Really, your major power spike is your evolved mana. I mean, that's when your Qs start to really hurt. The lethality items of like Youmuu's Ghostblade is mainly for the utility of the movement speed. The Serral's Grudge mainly for the slow and the ability haste. Like really, the actual lethality only really is helpful. I whiff my ultimate again. Is really only helpful with squishy champions that don't build armors. Champions like enemy ADCs, enemy mages. Other than that, really, it really doesn't work out too well. The lethality items, that is. Now, if you guys take a look, Pantheon has just picked up his Chain Vest, which means he's gonna build into a Guardian Angel. Like, look at it. He has a BF Sword and a Chain Vest. Means he's gonna pick up a Guardian Angel really soon. Now, my two lethality items of Duskblade and Ghostblade in total give me, I believe it is 24, around 24 or 26 flat armor penetration, which doesn't even penetrate the Guardian Angel itself, which gives 40 armor. It just barely does over half of the Guardian Angel's extra armor. So really, it's not gonna help against Pantheon at all, or anybody who builds armor for that matter. So it really only helps against squishy champions. Like for example, in this match, it's like Xayah and Aurelia and Soul, who definitely isn't gonna build armor. Rakan is already building armor. Darius likely will build armor later. I do believe he's going for like a more tanky kind of build, but yeah, it really is not gonna help too much against them. So really, I'm just waiting for my power spike here. Of course, you have very good wave clear with your AoE abilities. Of course, that's another good strength of Varus. He has very strong pushing power, very fast wave clear. And if you guys can see, I actually chose to pick up Proto Belt as an enchant this game. Now, you pick up your enchant options are of course Stasis, Proto Belt, and the QSS. Now, you normally pick up Stasis if there is a backline diver or an assassin. In this case, there is a backline diver being Pantheon, but there isn't really an assassin. Really, you need that more for an assassin because you can get bursted 100 to 0 instantly with an assassin, like for example Rengar. You of course get QSS if there is a lot of CC that can hit you very easily. In this case, not exactly, as we pick up a triple kill and go for the dragon. So here is the fight that really changed the game in our favor, because we did ace the enemy team and two of us are still alive, arguably the two most important members of our team, which is me and Master Yi. So anyways, as I was saying, so you normally don't get QSS unless there's a lot of CC that can hit you easily. In this case, Aurelia has CC. Will it hit us easily? Likely not. We can stand behind people or Proto Belt out of the way. Xayah's CC, does it hit us easily? No, because if we position properly, we won't get hit by her root, and we can also try to Proto Belt out of the way if we are out of position. Now, Pantheon, will his CC hit us easily? No, unless he ults on top of our hits. Even in which case, we can actually flash Proto Belt out, and he won't be able to be in range to actually W us. So, overall, generally, Proto Belt is the best enchant in like 80% of games. The other 20% probably Zanya's. You normally don't pick up QSS unless you really need it, which is very rare. But yeah. So anyways, here we can transition straight into the Baron. The enemy team is none the wiser. Darius finds out at the last moment, but it's too late. Aurelion Sol just walks straight into a charm. I follow up with my root as well, so he gets bursted 100 to 0 without doing anything at all. Now, using your ultimate to get a pick on a single person in the mid and late game is actually also just as good as like ulting in a team fight. Of course, the best use of your ult is like in a Dragon or Baron team fight where you can spread your ult across multiple people or minimally disorient the enemy team. But you know, just using your ult to get a pick is really good as well. So you will see me do that a couple of times in this game, just ulting one person to get a pick. But you know, of course, the best way is the team fight. Varus probably has the best team fight ult of all ADCs. The only one I think who could possibly compete with him is maybe MF with her AoE bullet time, which can do a lot of damage to a lot of people. But I think Varus, in my opinion, Varus ult is better than MF ult in terms of team fight. So here Master Yi goes ham, flashes all the way in, he dies. He's kind of inting. But yeah, here I also take a tower shot. I'm kind of inting as well. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Here I'm just going to pick up the tower. No problem there. Simple pick up on the mid lane tower. Here, just using my my rage to poke because I can. Now we have used up all the tempo on the map, so it's a really good time to just recall and just get items. Here Darius is coming, doesn't matter because I have the Baron Empire recall, which means he can't actually get into range unless like he flash Proto Belts. At this point in time, he does not have he does have Proto Belt actually, but he doesn't have flash, so he couldn't actually get to me fast enough. So yeah, most Darius actually normally pick up Proto Belt just for the engage potential, so you have to be very cautious when it comes to Darius, especially if you're an immobile AD carry like Varus. So he might even just Proto Belt flash to just engage, but very common he'll Proto Belt hook just for the engage, so you gotta always watch out and you know, be ready to sidestep if he does that. I think later on he does try to do that. We'll see in the video, but yeah. So anyways, I saw him coming down, so I move out of the way, like don't push up too far so that I don't get caught by him. You know, one-on-one against a Darius, I have absolutely no chance if he gets into any kind of melee range with me. So here we're just gonna focus down the bot side of the map. We see like two people top side and you know, one person in the mid lane, so we can try to focus the bot side. Here, there we go. Darius Proto Belt hook, you know, I saw it coming a mile away, so I sidestep it. Ari gets caught, doesn't matter. We ult him for the pick again, so you know, as I said, ulting for a pick is worth it majority of the time, unless like a fight is gonna break out, like let's say at the Dragon or Baron really soon. But you know, Dragon is coming up in like 18 seconds. My ult is already like halfway off cooldown. Like the ult at like max rank, the cooldown really isn't that long. So here we have two super minion waves, but unfortunately the entire enemy team respawns except the Xayah, of course, so we kind of wanted to try to end, but you know, we realized it wasn't going to work out, so thankfully the team doesn't actually force it. Here I'm just trying to get off some last minute poking, but doesn't really hit anybody. So we can just fall back onto the Ocean Dragon, which is absolutely free. Like, the enemy team really can't do anything about it. The only way we lose this is if Pantheon outs straight into the pit and Smite steals it, which is unlikely to happen and really wouldn't be the optimal play for them. Oh wait, here he comes. We have already picked up the dragon, so he basically just dies for nothing. Aurelion Sol comes in as well. Everybody comes in. So here I can get a large team fight out. All of them just CC. They're all gone. Here, as you guys can see here, what a good team fight out it is. It just spreads onto 3 people. Now, honestly, if I were the team, I wouldn't bother to contest the Ocean Dragon. Like, really, how important is the Ocean Dragon? Not really. Now, you have given us 3 kills, and now we can actually just end the game. Now, are we gonna end the game though? Our team is trolling, we don't end the game. Now here, actually like 4 enemies are dead. So actually what we can actually just do here, we push down mid, we just end the game right here. But an entire team decides that we want to push top instead, which is obviously the wrong play. But you know, we're gonna get this tower at least. So here I just realized we're gonna get the tower really easy. I start channeling recall so I can actually at least pick up the gold from the tower as I'm recalling. But here, you know, I recall pick up my Dust Blade of Drakthar and start building towards my Guardian Angel. Now, honestly, depending on the situation, you can actually go for Guardian Angel before your Dust Blade as well if you need the safety. But your first 3 items of the Manamune, Ghost Blade, as well as the Cyrella's Grudge generally doesn't change. Now, here my team is making a huge throw play where they're going in 3v5 because me and the Nami aren't there yet. Thankfully, the enemy team overchase as well. I get off a ult onto the Aurelion Soul, but he actually manages to Zhonya's my Q, which actually causes him to survive. Now here, Darius is really low. I actually blind snipe him for the kill. I actually had no vision of the area at all, but I was just like a little bit of skill, a little bit of luck, like, you know, estimating where he was, and I just launched my max range arrow into that direction, and it somehow like nicks him and gets me the kill. So anyways, the team, you know, we are severely weakened. The Olaf is down. The Master Yi has only just respawned, so it's 3 of us against like 4 of them. We don't want to force the issue, so instead we're just going to, or not we, they are going to reset, but I don't actually reset because I don't actually have anything to buy, and you know, I'm at full health. I have like half, 3/4, 2/3 maybe mana, so I don't really actually need to reset. Instead, we're just going to go for the Baron, which is the very obvious play. Just get the Baron and just end the game. Yeah, really easy, really simple. So there, of course, we're not going to be overconfident. We're just going to ward the area just in case. And just going to pick up the easy Baron. The enemy team doesn't even come to contest. Not that they really can. So here we pick up the Baron. And we're just going to push for the end at this point. Me and Master Yi are going to push mid. The rest of the team is going to push bot. We can crash both waves into the enemy base at the same time, and that basically guarantees us the end of the game. No way that the enemy team can stop a Baron push at this point in time. Aurelion Soul actually spotted in the top lane, not sure what he's doing there. But here Darius trying his best to stall, get avoid the wave crashing. The team is kind of chasing for him, not the best play in my opinion, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. Here we're just gonna pick up a couple of kills before ending the game. Now at this point, the Baron minions will just end the game. So here, just playing for kills at this point, just trying to see who we can kill before the game ends. We pick up the Aurelion Soul right before the game ends, and yeah, he's still in his death animation. Like, just look at that weird Aurelion Soul death animation. But yep. Anyways, we do get the MVP of the game, as you can see. We get an S. We're 13-0-14, no deaths at all. And we didn't actually even use our Proto Belt the entire game. But anyways, I'll leave you guys with the rest of the stats as you guys can see here. Thank you guys for watching the video, and goodbye.